So I recently had the experience of working on one of the psychic chat lines. I only lasted about 6 weeks, but it was a very educational 6 weeks. I have to say it was not a horrible experience. The management staff was very supportive. But we were put through a very extensive training program that basically consisted of teaching us tricks to keep people talking, which, fair enough, you want them to do, but also getting them calling back, which you sort of want them to do. Here's the thing. It is generally recommended by professional tarot readers that a person not get a reading more than once every couple of months or so. The methods that we were being taught were designed to keep people calling back multiple times a week, bleeding their wallets for $5.99 a minute in the process. One of the things that we were told in training that really stuck with me is that research has shown that when people get readings on the psychic lines, they generally don't remember what the reader told them. What they remember is how they felt during the reading, which I actually found this a little bit unnerving, that most people remember how they felt during the reading, but they don't remember what the reader said to make them feel that way. But basically our job as readers was to make the client feel good, or at least feel better, to give them positive feelings, so that they would keep calling back, again, far more often than is generally recommended that a person get a tarot reading. We were also encouraged to use warm language to create trust in the client, which, fair enough, you do want to have a positive connection with a person that you're ostensibly trying to help. And therapists are actually trained to use warm language so that they can connect with their clients in a more positive way. The thing is, I'm autistic. I don't normally use a lot of emotional language in my day-to-day communication. And I also don't use a lot of New Age speak, which is something else that they wanted us to do, because people apparently want a spiritual reading. I think what they mean is a spiritual sounding reading, because the reading is inherently spiritual. But what it amounts to is that I was being asked to communicate in what for me is a very artificial way. And also, if somebody is using a lot of this warm language with me, it actually makes me feel very mistrustful, because I think the person is being disingenuous with me. And, oh God, the messaging. They actually sent out AI-generated messages to clients multiple times a day. And on top of that, we were required to send them our own personal, what they called pings, which is basically a personal message from us, trying to get them to call back for another reading. Another thing they wanted us to do was create intrigue. What they meant by that was basically suggest that, you know, as we were finishing a reading or in our messages and pings, suggest that there's some unfinished business in the reading, suggest that there's something about the reading that needs to be looked into more deeply, again, to get the person to call back within a few days as opposed to within a few months. And when I do a reading, it's a closed-ended thing. I like to wrap them up with a neat little bow. I do not want the person to become dependent on me. And basically all of this messaging. And apparently research, they do a lot of market research into these things. And the research has found that even though the customers know that most of this messaging is AI generated, it gives people positive feelings about the company. And to me, I would be very annoyed. This is another thing that seems counterintuitive. If I was getting messaged that often, I think I would be inclined to unsubscribe. But again, they want to create dependency. Basically, they want to get people addicted to calling the service. And at $5.99 a minute, another thing that we were told during training was that most people who call for a psychic reading, they're not necessarily there for divination. What they're looking for is just somebody to talk to. And at the rates the company was charging, this is money that would be better spent on therapy. Most of the people who called, I think, actually did need therapy. I didn't get anybody who I thought was psychotic, but there were a lot of people whose life situations were just leading them into very unhealthy behaviors. And they needed someone with specialized training that I don't have to help them get to the heart of that, whatever their issues were, and heal from them, rather than just provide an ear to vent into, which is really all I can do as a reader, aside from the usual predictions and advice. But again, I do not want somebody to become dependent on me. Yes, I do want them to call me back again next time they need a reading, but I can't be somebody's therapist. I don't have the training for that. And the $5.99 a minute, the reader only gets about 40 cents of that. That's actually to start with. There are raises and there's a bonus structure for high performers, but it only amounts to dimes per minute. And also, the majority of the readings I did were the 3-minute trial readings, which I only got paid for if I got them across the line into a paid reading. If I could get them to stay on the line with me into that 4th minute, then I would be paid for the reading. If not, then I didn't, which basically means that I did not get paid for the majority of the work that I did working for the company. And it was exhausting trying to do 3-minute readings at the rate that the calls were coming in. At the end of the shift, my brain felt like I'd been run through a cheese grater. And between the exhausting nature of the work itself and the questionable ethics of creating basically what amounts to an addiction, I really couldn't do it anymore and feel good about myself, so I quit.